I am, I did star 7. Can you guys hear me okay? Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to try to mute the lines, and, if you want to just raise your hand or send me a message so that we can go. Actually, for this, I might not mute the lines. If you guys can mute your own lines, just hit mute on your phones, and then if you have a question, just interrupt me at any time. It's probably going to be best if we do it that way so that we don't get anybody lost in this. So welcome. If you can't hear me okay, just let me know because I'm using a headset, and I know they're sometimes a little funny. Okay, CCC Customization. First things first,
Laura.
Before you do absolutely anything, you need to locate your CCC folder, and I will send this PowerPoint on to everybody. And you need to make a full backup. And the way you do that is you right-click on it and hit copy, and then back it up in your documents or your desktop or somewhere where it's nowhere near the EMR or CPS folder. And name it CCC Backup. The reason why we want to do...
Dr. Temecki.
The reason why we want to make that backup is if you don't and you make a mistake in one of the, or you mess up in one of the text files that we're going to edit, it can lock up your EMR, and neither you or any of your users will be able to access Centricity. So if that does happen, then the text file that you were playing with, you can go find that and paste that into the folder, or you can just paste the whole CCC folder in there, which will then give you access again. This has happened to me before. It's not a big deal, but if you have that backup, then it's okay to mess around with it because it will happen. And usually what I like to do is once I've made a few forms and changes and they work, Centricity is still running, I'll make another copy of this folder that I can use. Okay, so I don't lose those changes in the future. So very, very important, make a copy of that folder. If you don't, then call support. In these, you can edit, but I don't want you guys to go edit any of these. We're going to learn how to do this in the next, some of these in the next section. Because this is a lot. One of the ones that specifically that we're going to do today is a little bit easier, and it's extremely flexible. But then we'll go into changing HPIs, physical exams, things like that. They just work a little bit different. So today we're going to look at, we're going to start out simple and just look at document templates. How do I insert my forms, components, images, things like that? And then how do I also change the order of the template? So sometimes my providers say, you know what, I want allergies moved above my family history or something like that. Then I can do so. Okay? So we're just going to show you how to do that and how to do some of the, bold things and insert images, stuff like that. And then the next one we're going to do, so we're going to spend a little time on this, but bulk of the time we're going to learn how to customize the expanded history editor to CCC form. The reason why I picked this form is it's extremely customizable, it's easy, and I hope all of you will tell me that next time that we meet that you've created your own forms using this. Okay, so stay with me. It's a lot, I understand that, but we're going to get through this pretty easily. We just need to get over the hump that, this is difficult to do. So I'm working in version 10, the same concept in whatever version you're in, but the colors are just a little bit prettier, I think. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go to administration. Oops. I'm going to go to administration. I'm going to click on chart documents and document templates. Okay? And these are where all of your document templates are stored. So when we open an encounter, these are the files that open. What I usually like to do is on the chart document templates, I like to click on the enterprise and create my own folder. So I'm just going to name this Lolani.
Por atrás.
Okay.
Ella sale por atrás.
Okay, can you guys please, if your phone is not on mute, if you could please put it on mute. Okay, so my folder is empty, right? I've created my own folder. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of go through, let's just do the paint intake forms. So over here are my document templates, and I can create new ones, and I can put them in my folder. So right now I'm just going to change this one and show you what it looks like. So these are all of the forms. The first thing that's going to come up in this one is my history of present illness, then my meds and allergies. The way you kind of know when these begin and start is by the brackets. So what I like to do is usually hit enter after each one of these. And some of them, they're going to look like this. They'll be all mashed in together. Okay, so all you need to do is find those brackets and make sure that you have your mouse pointed at the right spot. And just kind of separate them when you work in them. All right? So if my physician says, you know what, I really want my meds and allergies to be above my HPI, when I'm documenting, you simply come in here, okay, and you're going to hit cut, and then paste it where you want it to be. Okay? So now what I've done, and then you can get rid of the spaces, extra spaces that's in there. So now what I've done is I've just changed the order of my forms. Pretty easy. I can also come in here and I can do something like this. I can make heading. I'm just going to bold this and maybe underline it. And I can change the font. Okay? And I can also insert images. And what you do is, the easiest way I have found it is to put an image in Paint, copy a signature or any image that you want, and then just come in here and hit paste. And now this signature is going to show up every time. And I can change how big or small this is. Okay? Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to hit OK. Or actually, okay. And now we're going to go look and, all right. So I've hit OK, and now it's saved. The next thing I want to show you is how to create an encounter type, because once you've created this document template, you need to create an encounter type for it. Okay? Before I do that, I'm actually going to move this to my folder and show you how to do that. So remember how at the top here I created my document template. Here's my paint intake form that I changed. I'm going to say move, and I'm just going to put it in my folder, or you can make a copy of it by selecting all and pasting it. So there it is. Okay, so now I know that this is the one that I've made changes to. Now when you click on encounter types, this is what comes up when we open up a note for a patient. So I'm going to hit new here, and I'm just going to call it Lolani's pain form. The document type is asking you what it is so it knows how to file it. In this case, it's an office visit. So I'm just going to say office visit. Confidentiality type you can change here. And then the most important part here is picking where it's at. So remember how I made my own folder, and there's my paint intake form. I'm going to hit OK. What to open up. And then you can have any notes, so you can just say customize form or something like that. This over here, you know how with some templates or some notes, when you open them up, the forms automatically pop up, and then other times they don't. So sometimes when I open a note, I first see the notes, and I have to click on each one of them in order to open up the forms. This is what this window here is. So I prefer every time for it to automatically open up my forms, your preference. And I'm just going to hit OK. And there it is. Okay? So now that I've done that, I'm going to go to our chart. And I already have one open. I'm going to say New Document for my patient. I'm going to do a search, or I can browse. Do a search. And there's my pain form. Okay. So remember how I put meds and allergies at the top? I can make my changes. My form automatically came up because I said that's how I wanted it to do. If I look at the text, here's my text. Remember how I put meds and allergies in bold at the top? And then if I move all the way down, there's my signature that I put in. Any questions? Okay. Anything else that you would like to show me about, that you would like me to show you on creating those templates? Okay. Well, that was pretty easy.
Is there any way to change forms that are already there?
In where?
Kind of like you have any one of them, like the forms that were, you know how you had the little things inside that pain form, like the allergies, and any way to customize that with little bullets that you can click? Yeah, like this kind of stuff.
Yes, that's what we're going to do next.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to start at the basics so everybody knows where to go. Okay. Now, the first thing you're going to do, so since we don't have any more questions on those, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create our first CCC form. So find a test patient, and then when you click on New Document, and just open up a blank document, so just hit OK. We're going to start with a blank document. So the first form today, like I told you, that we're going to do is our expanded form.
John Jacobson.
So in my search, I'm just going to type in expanded and then hit search. You're going to see there's two of them. One says expanded history editor to CCC, and the other one says expanded history form to CCC. So this one is the one that we're going to edit, and this is the one that's going to show up. So for right now, I just want to access both of those. Okay, so I'm going to highlight both and just hit OK. And like I said, you guys, first just play around with this form. Next month in our EMR meeting, we'll go through and change some of the other forms, like the history forms and our HPI forms. But I first just want you to get familiar with this one because it's so easy to do. All right? Now, what we're going to create is this. I'm just going to go to the form and show you ones that I've previously created. So we'll just do this TB clinic. This is one that one of my customers asked for, and it's just patient demographics, and you can click down, select your race, ethnicity. You can type in some of these, okay? And so this is what we're going to create right now. So I'm going to go back to my editor form, and in here, let's just say we're going to create a development form, okay? You name it what you want. And up here, I'm going to choose my heading. So let's just say we're going to call it stress screen. And I'm just following a form that I have here. Now, under labels, this is what our question is. So maybe I say
Kim with Dr. Dennis Bozarth.
Okay, so there's my family stress screen. And now the values. This is what's going to be the drop-down, okay? And what I'm going to do here And you're going to, every value you're going to separate by comma. Now, do not put a space behind the commas, because if you do, there's going to be an extra space in your text. So you want to make sure that, you can type as much as you want, but after each new value needs to be separated by a comma with no space for the next value. And you can put as many as you want in here. Okay? And let's just do another one for fun. We'll just do value 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, see over here it says ops. I can link this to an ops term. Does everybody have access to the ops term spreadsheet?
No.
Anybody? Yes? No? Okay.
No.
I will send that out too, and you can also pull it from your database. But let's go and show you what that looks like. So this is something that I will send out. These are all of the ops terms that are currently in the system, okay, for the most part, in the database. So I just did race, and so usually what I like to do is just go to find, and I'll type in race, and then any ops term for race is going to come up, okay, and you can kind of look through them and see what they are. It'll tell you what it is, what the ops term is, and where it's located. So there's thousands of them. Okay? So the one that I'm going to use, and you guys can kind of look through that. We won't spend too much time on that. But make sure it's all capitalized, and I'm just going to use a very generic one. So maybe when it's ask for sex, and I'm just going to put that in there. Okay? And you can keep going on. I can also then make another column and just keep asking my questions, whatever I want, with values and ops terms. Okay, any questions? The second tab on here, same thing. One column and a column 2 for any questions, and you can skip a line if you want to, if you want spaces between them. Now the third tab, and this is, let's go to the third tab to kind of show you what that looks like. The third tab allows me to ask things like, are you pregnant? And then I can say yes, no, unsure, or whatever I want. And it also allows for a little text box. So this is what the third tab is that we're going to customize right now. If I click back on here, I'm just going to say same thing. Are you pregnant? And then I can either leave it blank or I can say yes, no, unsure, not tested, whatever. Okay? And I can keep going on with my different check boxes. And it'll kind of tell you how they listed too, so checkbox 1, 2, 3, 4. And at any time when you see something like this with receiving text, so you can have text that goes in front or after this label. If you get stuck, you'll see these little question marks everywhere that you can click on that will kind of explain to you what the system is looking for. I use these all the time. There's one up here, too, that will tell me what does the label do, what are the values, what is the preceding text, what do I do with my ops terms, things like that. Okay? And then your third one, okay, sorry, I just saw a question come up and I wasn't sure what that is. How do I access that? Chat. Here we go. Okay, so here, it's patient entered history ops terms. Okay, so, so if the patient has entered in history, those ops terms, so let's just say that the patient filled out information on the portal, I can connect that to a different ops terms, which will populate it. So if I wanted to say these were my values, which is going to come up in the ops term, and then my patient history values, that will be my PEH ops terms. Okay? I usually don't, yes, from the portal, and we can kind of discuss how that works in a second, a little bit later too. So for right now, just enter in here in the obs terms so that these will populate. Okay, and I'll show you how to pull those forward into your letters too. Okay, so you have 36 text boxes that you can put information in and 4 columns that you can ask questions for. The next very important step is to go onto the Other-1 tab. And what you want to do here is you want to select down on specialties and you want to say all specialties. Okay? Typically, I don't like to go in here and pick 1 or 2 specialties. I just do all specialties. That way I know it's always going to show up no matter who logs in. And then don't forget to hit add so that it'll show up. Okay? All right. So now that we've done that, the next step, and everything looks good, the next step is to insert text into Note. And what this is doing is kind of giving us our programming for what we just did. So everything that I just filled out looks like this. Okay? And then you want to make sure that when you copy this, that you get everything from the / beginning to everything to the end. So I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go back to my form, and I'm going to say Open Text File to Edit. Okay? So let's go through that again. Once I did the fun part and filled out everything that I wanted on my forms, I said Insert Text from Note, which inserted it into my notes. We're going to highlight everything that it did. We're going to copy it, and then we're going to go back to our form, and we're going to say Open Text File to Edit. Now, this is why it's so important to make a backup of that CCC folder. With this specific form, and they're not all the same, which is why I want you to first make changes to this one and not the other ones. With this one, you're going to go all the way down to the bottom, and you're going to hit Enter after the last line, and then we're just going to paste what we just did. Okay? And then I'm going to hit File, Save, and close it. Everybody with me?
Can you go over that again?
Okay. So I made all my changes. Once I've made all my changes of everything that I wanted to put in here, I'm going to say Insert Text into Notes. I'm going to go to my notes, and I'm going to copy the text. You can see it says beginning and end, so you kind of know. If you do a big one, I mean, it can be 2 pages long. And I'll show you one that I've already completed in a little bit more detail. So once I've highlighted that, I'm going to hit Copy. Then I'm going to go back to the form, and I'm going to say Open Text File to Edit. And then right at the bottom of that text file, after the last one, I'm going to hit Enter, Enter. I'm going to paste in my text. And then I'm going to say File, Save, and then I'm going to close my text file. And that text file only runs this form. Okay? Everybody got that? If you need me to go over it again, let me know. Okay. Then I'm going to end my note, and this is really important too. Do not discard, sign your note. Make sure you put it on hold. Okay, because if you do, you're going to lose that information. So just put your note on hold. And then we have to log out of the system. So not just here to this form, you actually have to hit exit and close out of the system 100%. And then open it up again. go to my chart. Okay, and this is just telling me that it's updated all of these forms, so that's good, no errors, and it has loaded properly. Yes. Now, if you don't get to this step, take that text file or copy your CCC folder that you made a backup with in that directory and try again. So I'm just going to hit OK. But you shouldn't have any problems with this form because it's pretty easy. Okay, so now what should happen is that we'll just open up Lucille here again. I'm just going to create a new document. We'll make it empty one. And then I can open up my form, and I should have my development form. So there's my development form. It tells you which tabs I had entered information in. So family screening, race, sex. Those are empty. Are you pregnant? Yes. I can type in here. And then there's nothing in the other ones. Okay? And then the text box for me. So then when I hit text here, this is what it looks like. But now, I really want it to look a little bit prettier. So I'm going to end this, and I'm just going to discard this document. And we're going to open the one that we had just edited. So this is my previous one that I opened up, that I made changes to. So in this editor, maybe I want, this to be bold. So I'm going to say, yes, include this heading in here. Okay, and then you can kind of come over here to the other tab 1, 2, and 3, and you can play around with your headings. So maybe I want it to be bold. If you don't know where these are, you can always hit that question mark, and it'll tell you where the label's going to be. Maybe I want it italics, and I want the font size to be 15, and maybe I want 2 carriage returns after my heading. Okay? So, who can tell me what I need to do next to now change my text file? For these changes that I've made, what do I need to do next? Nobody? Nobody gets candy. All right, so what I'm going to do...
Enter text form to the note, and hit the text button, highlight and copy. Go to Forms, open text file to edit, go all the way down, enter, file, save, close, end note.
Beautiful. Who was that?
Dr. Temecki in Brookfield.
Very good. Okay, so one little extra step here. Because I have now made changes to it, the first thing I need to do is say remove text from note, because we want to remove the old information, okay? And then we're going to say insert text into note. We're going to go back up here. We're going to copy it. Go back to my form. Open text file for edit. And then make sure that this information that you put in last time, there's my development one. Make sure you highlight all of that again. Delete it and paste in the new text. And then hit File, Save, and close it, and then close out, put your note on hold and close out of the full application. Okay? One of the things that I don't like about this form that is really important to remember is that with all of our other forms, you're always able to, go down to your drop-down list and find previous forms. This is the only form that once you close out of this note, whether you discard it or sign it, it won't let you edit, previous changes unless you go into the text file to edit those. And we'll go through those in meeting 2 on how to do that. So with this one, make sure that you just have a test patient and you keep putting it on hold. Okay? So I'm just going to hit end here. I'm going to hold this document, and I want to show you one that I created. So TB Clinic is what I called it. This is my whole text file. This is what it looked like. Okay, so it's pretty long, so it can get really long. But this is what it looks like. And it's so easy and so customizable. So I'm just going to remove the text. So there's different drop-downs. The Years of School Dental Program, and this is just saying, do you want to lose that information you put in? I'm just going to say yes. You can have dates. There's all my different information that I put on there. And click down here. This is a TB clinic one that we created, patient demographics, and all of these are linked up to ops terms, which will then allow me, and I'll show you what that will do in a second here. Okay? So, very customizable form. Do you guys think that you'll be able to use this form? Is this helpful? The other nice thing that I like about this form is you can also choose to have it insert prior values. This one doesn't have any. But you can insert prior values and then just make your changes on those. And let me show you what this one looks like. So here's my labels. I just entered in all of my questions, my values that I want, and then I created an ops term or put ops terms in for each and every single one of these. And what that allows me to do is if I go and create a note and I want to say, dear patient, we see that your preferred language is English. Is this correct? Any values or your lab results for X, Y, and Z, or your next appointment is this and that. The way I do that is through pulling it forward from ops terms. Does everybody know, who does not know how to create a note with ops terms or a letter? So everybody knows how to do that? Okay, good. So this is why these ops terms...
Just nobody's saying it.
Okay. All right, so we'll go through how to do that and what it will look like. So once I have these ops terms, what this allows me to do is when I document, I'm just going to end this and put this on hold. What it allows me to do, and we're going to go back to administration. Well, maybe let me show you an example first.
And then when would you like the appointment for him?
I'll show you first what it's going to do. So we're going to go to Hannah Hawkeye here. And I've already used that template, that TB Clinic template. I used that form with her already. So there's the form that I created. Okay. What I can do is when I go to print and I have letters that I've created myself, and we're just going to say preview here, I can create letters where all of this information will automatically pull forward based on what I have documented. Okay? So let me show you how to do that. We're going to go to administration. We're going to go to letters, and we're going to go to letter template. And once again, I always like to create my own folder just by clicking new, but I already have one here. And then we're going to create another letter. So the best way to do this, we'll just make changes to this one. With these, you can enter in it. You can put in an image also if you want to. You can highlight, make things bold, make it as big, do the formatting that you want to. I usually like to create these. You can use tables in Word. So I like to create them in Word first and have the formatting exactly how I want it to be. Then you need to paste it into Notepad, and then you can put it in here, but it keeps the formatting for you. But see all of these? These are ops terms. And the way you found those are in here that you use, and I'll show you also how to find which ops terms you've used in a note. And I will send a how-to as well as, because I know, we don't have too much time and it's a lot of information to cover, and it's always nice to have it in front of you step by step. So I will send you an example of this. But this is my ops term. Okay, this is the ops term that I've used for Are You Pregnant? And this stuff over here is kind of the programming that says, hey, whenever I see this, I need to pull the answer forward in my notes. Okay? So, do you have a persistent cough? The ops term we used is cough. So if I wanted to print this out in my note, if I've answered that with a patient, it's going to say, do you have a persistent cough? And then yes or no based on what they answered. Any questions on that? Tell me if I'm confusing everybody. So let's create a new document for Hannah, and we're going to go, going to open up a new one, and I'm just going to add that expanded, and we'll fill it out, and I'll show you. So expanded, I'm just going to open up my form, and then we'll just pick that TB clinic, and we're just going to fill out some information on here. Say Okay. What else can we do? We'll just do this for now. Let's do some of these too. Okay. And I'm going to end my update. So there is it. This is what it's going to look like in my text. I'm going to end it, and I'm going to sign it. Now I'm going to go to print, and under letters, because that's where I created my letter, under my own folder, and then I'm going to hit preview, and there's all of my information that I filled out. So then you can fax this or email it. Okay? That's why it's so important to use those ops terms. Any questions? Does that help? Everybody still with me?
Yes, very good.
Okay. So those are the letters, and I'll send you on how to do that.
Okay.
Yes, I heard somebody else want to ask something. Okay. With this form, you guys, it's, once you have this one and you're happy with it, I will just leave it open, and you can always create another one, and as many as you want. So if you have any forms that you have or specific things that you would like a nurse to ask or visit, these are really great to use. It's so customizable. The choices that you have on there also. Next time we're going to learn some of the other things, like our CCC forms and, some of the, let's see here. And these are a little bit different, but next time we're going to learn how to change our HPIs and create sentences and things like that. Okay, so we'll go into it. We'll go one step further. But for now, use that expanded history form. Make your changes. Most important thing, remember to make a backup of that CCC folder.
I came in kind of late. Can you show that CCC folder where it's located to make a copy of it?
Absolutely. Okay. So if you have EMR, it's going to be a little bit different. But if you have CPS, I usually just like to right-click here and say Open Windows Explorer, and it's under your C drive, Program Files, Centricity, Client, and then CCC. So just right-click and say Copy, and then paste it somewhere else, like on under your documents.
So C drive.
Yeah, and it might be a little bit different for everybody. So under you can also do a search here for CCC. So mine right now is under the C drive, Program Files, Centricity Practice Solution, Client, and then CCC. On the example that I have, this is the EMR one only. It was under C, EMR, CCC Share, CCC, and you'll get this one too. So it's probably best just to do a search for your CCC folder and then make a full copy of it, because in the next 3 months we'll probably have to cover this in 3 meetings, but yeah, we'll be making a lot of changes and show you how to customize a lot of these, and we want to make sure that those are backed up, because it will definitely lock up your system. It's happened to me before. And if you don't have a backup, then it's trouble. But if you do, it's really easy to fix. So, does everybody think they'll be able to create a form?
We'll
From what I showed you today. Awesome. So try it, play around with it. You can't, as long as you have a copy of that CCC folder, you can't break anything. So
now, is that CCC folder on the server, or where would that be? Because I just did a search and I can't find it.
Yeah, it's going to be on the server.
Okay. Thank you.
Wherever it's installed at. And if you guys want, you can also call support and they can help you locate that folder or make a copy of it for you.
Okay.
So next time what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to change this HPI form, how to add or change these drop-downs, and also how to change these values and the sentences that come in here.
Cool.
Okay? So that's what we're going to do next time. It's a little harder, but not much. But if you have played around with the form, the expanded form that we did today, trust me, it'll be so much easier. Okay?
Okay.
And then try to connect to Opstrom to it, and also pull it forward in a letter to see if it works.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions? Any comments?
Good job, Olani.
Thank you. Is that Mike?
It is.
Thanks, Mike. So sweet.
All right, well, thank you very much.
You guys are welcome.
Thank you.